about 14 interceptions, 15 interceptions. I think he's going to break the record also. Mario Williams with 1,000,000 sacks. Leon Hall, just look at those Chargers, man. Three straight Chargers in Defensive Player of the Year. You can't beat that. The Chargers are balling and got to give a hand salute to them. The Ravens also playing some great defense with 3 guys pulling up the rear. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Zach Mettenberger, the LSU Tiger, finally getting some playing time in Denver, and he's straight up balling right now. Got to give him respect for that. A lot of these rookies, Brandon Cook, I got to play against him. I got to play against Dre Harcher. Those guys were extremely fast in Jacksonville. D'Anthony Thomas, Brandon Cook, and Dre Archer on one team. That's not even fair. But those guys were pretty fast, man. They were doing some damage to my Texans defense that I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different next game. Anthony Barr, the Defensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC, I give it to him. It's sold up. C.J. Mosley doing work right now in Indianapolis, and Clint Dixon, Cincinnati also. Justin Gilbert, who has superstar development. A lot of people don't really know that. So he develops pretty fast. He's pretty big. He's going to be a super stud right there in Cincinnati. Best Quarterback Award. I'm going to say right now, Matt Ryan would have had it, but he's going to be out for the year. But Terrell Pryor, who's been top 5 quarterback all year, is going to be the offensive best quarterback in the AFC. It's going to be solidified. He's going to win that hands down. You see Cam Newton with like 4,500 interceptions this year, still managed to crack the top 10. The best running back.
Since they traded for RG3, they're looking a lot better.
Who is that?
Got rid of the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. Yeah, that RG3 trade helped the Raiders a lot. A great turnaround. They're 7-8. Next year, we look for them to be making a good playoff run in a pretty tough division with Denver and San Diego pretty much putting a stamp on that division. So we're going to see how that works out for the Raiders, who's fighting an uphill battle, but they made some great moves, and RG3, nice mobile quarterback, can kind of help them out. With these running backs, we got Isaiah Crowell, C.J. Anderson, Le'Veon Bell, and DeMarco Murray, who's going to win that award hands down, who's been running the ball tremendously this year. Rod Streeter, the Chargers wide receiver, big 6'5" receiver who just dominating this year. You got to give respect. We had Landis on last week, and he got to tell us about Rod Streeter, and it was his idea to make Streeter a superstar, and he's actually doing it. But Brandon Marshall, Julio Jones, A.J. Green, who was traded to the Bills, those guys are no slouches. I'm going to skip go to the offensive linemen and just give you the top 2. You see right there, the Chargers, Ravens. In order to win, you got to have great offensive line. I want to give a special, I was going to say top 2. I just talk about Nate Solder, who actually has the most sacks given up on my team. But a story about him, when he got picked, it was a time when my time ran out on the draft, and the computer picked him up. So salute to him, man, being in the top 5 best offensive linemen, even though he's given up the most sacks on my team. Mario Williams, the defensive lineman, what I believe he's almost with 20-something sacks already. So the Chargers defense is no joke. As you see, Sheldon Richardson and Tyrone Crawford for the Bengals. Muhammad Wilkerson, 99 overall right now, just doing work right now. Jerry Hughes, Marcel Darius, DeMarcus Ware, Jamie Collins, John Abraham, Nick Fairley. These guys are balling. The AFC defensive linemen are no joke. Defensive back Leon Hall, who's leading the cornerbacks in interceptions, because the middle linebacker is actually leading the league in interceptions. Tyrann Mathieu, who I believe has 4 touchdowns on defense this year. The guy's just putting the ball in the end zone every time he catches it. Patrick Chung, the Texans representing, Micah Hyde and Ryan Parker closing out the top 4 defensive backs in the AFC. These awards are coming down to the end. Just Jimmy Garoppolo, Jeremy Hill, Martavius Bryant, DeMarco Murray. These guys are doing a lot of work. Matt Ryan before he was injured, and Latavius Murray, the running back for the Giants. I played the Giants, I think, week 2, and this guy had almost 190 something yards on my Texans, and I didn't really know who he was. So I gotta say, give a shout out to him in the top 10 of the MVP.
Jimmy Garoppolo has 75 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Crazy.
Wow, 75 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, man. That's just ridiculous. Man, that was a great owner. Sad to lose him, but hey, man, that's good stuff right there. Going to these NFL stats right here. What's this?
Latavius Murray has 26 touchdowns on the year.
Wow. Is that leading the league in rushing?
That's leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Isaiah Crowell, he's got 25, so that's pretty nice. You got Hill with 23. Those are your top 3 in touchdowns rushing.
Who's close to Garoppolo in passing? Let's look at that. I want to see who's close. 57 touchdown passes for Terrell Pryor, 43 for Rodgers, 40 for Alex Smith, 37 for Romo, 35 for Flacco, Ryan, and Kaepernick. So those guys are putting the ball in the end zone at quarterback. The running back touchdowns, we heard the top 3. Let's try to get about a top 10 of running back touchdowns if my screen would come up. There it is. Latavius Murray, Crowell, Hill, Murray, Lacey, Lynch, Ellington, and C.J. Anderson, all with 15. Great stuff. These receiving touchdowns, we're going to go here right fast just to see what these guys are putting up. These big numbers. Just like this has been having a lot of complaints, a lot of drama, a lot of situations going on. But that's what happened when the league gets to the wire. Some people that weren't used to losing start losing. Some that weren't winning at first start winning, and the league just starts to mellow itself out. The cream starts to rise to the top, and we start to be able to nitpick certain situations. But I just like to give a salute to all the guys in prime time. We've been balling this year. It's been a short year. The draft was probably longer than our season is going because we're straight getting these games out. Salute you guys for knocking your games out in a timely manner. Even the ones who got a couple of sim losses and you still say, look, we're still going to play. We're going to fight to the end. The ones that are right now at the bottom of the barrel trying to stop people from making the playoffs, man, I salute you, man, because there are a lot of Madden leagues, but there's only one prime time. So salute. Martavius Bryant, 24 reception touchdowns. Demaryius Thomas, 21. Vernon Davis, 19. 18 for Jeff Janis, the rookie receiver in Minnesota. The guy just throws the ball. 21. I never even heard of that guy. Brandon Marshall, 17. Victor Cruz, 17. 16 for Julio Jones, and 15 for T.Y. Hilton and R. Streeter. Those are your receiving touchdown leaders. These guys are balling. I want to talk right now a little bit about these NFL records and guys that are going to be breaking records soon before we move into the next situation. I'm going to go into these season records, and the passing yards records has already been broken by Jimmy Garoppolo with 5,562. But Terrell Pryor had a good run of it, and he had 5,362. So he should also break the old record by Peyton Manning, which was done last year. The passing touchdown record definitely broken by Terrell Pryor and Garoppolo, 75 and 57. These guys are throwing the ball around the yard, and they're not playing with it. The rushing touchdown yards has already been broken by Jeremy Hill, 2,196 yards. We have DeMarco Murray, who has 2,020. That might catch the old record, but I don't think he's going to catch Jeremy Hill. The rushing touchdown record hasn't been caught yet. Latavius Murray needs 2. Isaiah Crowell needs 3. And Jeremy Hill needs 5. So in order to catch that rushing touchdown record, which is 28 by LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. Receiving yards, Demaryius Thomas with 2,004 yards, which is now an NFL record. Martavius Bryant with 1,917. Vernon Davis also up there with Streeter and T.Y. Hilton. These guys are breaking records, and they're not playing. Martavius Bryant with 24 receiving touchdowns, which is a new NFL record. Demaryius Thomas with 21. Davis with 19. And Jeff Janis with 18. No one is even close to the reception touchdown. Maybe someone to take that challenge next year, but Marvin Harrison still has 143 touchdowns, which is the NFL record. No one is even close to the top, which is Brandon Marshall with 118 in 2012. So there's no one in 2014 that even make it on the list. Defensive sacks, we have 21, and the record is 22 by Gastineau in 1984. So we're going to look forward to Shazier getting at least 1 or 2 sacks to break that record this year. Defensive interceptions, Stephon Gilmore with 2014 for the Giants. With 17 for the Giants. And Leonidas with 15 for the Browns. We also have Leon Hall and Eric Berry with 14 and 13 respectively, that are rounding off your records for this Madden season. The primetime show, we're balling, we're making a push for the playoffs. Get your scouting done. For those of you that are out of the playoffs, don't forget to scout, make the moves you need to make to be competitive next year. The Cardinals, who've only won 1 game this year, but he's been playing. I don't think the Cardinals ever been autoed or skipped. I can't remember at all, but I don't remember him ever being autoed or skipped. But he's been playing, and he hasn't been denying any challenges. He's gotten a couple simulations, but hey man, if you're gonna play when you're 1 and 14 and you're still saying, hey, I'm gonna play and compete, much respect to that. And much respect to the guys that that need to rest their players for the playoffs, because the playoffs are 1 week away. We should be advancing tomorrow night. So hey, let's get this thing going. As I was interrupted by my daughter Serena asking for cereal. She doesn't realize that the primetime show is a big deal, young lady. This is live radio here. She's smiling. You get your Madden game up, Serena, I'll give you some airtime next time. But you suck right now, so go sit down. Yeah, go ahead.
Just 1 second. Trying to get this trade finalized. Cut somebody.
Denver and the Buccaneers are working this trade now. We have the GMs in the office trying to get the team situated where they can actually make it final. I don't think the Buccaneers in the playoff run. I think Denver is. So we're gonna see how this trade works out. Looking at the league, guys, we're I think 5 games left. Let's look at the schedule to see how many games are left. I'm not going to go into evaluating teams today. Just talk about the teams that are left and where we at. Then we can close this radio broadcast down and see if you have any comments. I think we have 4 or 5 viewers. So if you have any comments or anything you want to add, you want to join the party and talk right now before we close the radio broadcast down. Once again, we apologize for not getting the radio show yesterday. Family stuff happens. Good thing. It's not a bad thing. Much respect to that. But hey, stuff happens. So we're gonna bring it to you live today. We're gonna see right now how the broadcast comes out on my Twitch account and see if I can do some editing and we can have it prepared so that everyone else can participate and listen to it. But we're gonna take this thing to the next level eventually.